All right, here we are. We're finally back after the first of the year.
Happy New Year, Sheriff.
Happy New Year, Captain.
Has it got off to a good start?
Well, it hasn't been bad.
Okay.
It hasn't been bad. It's fairly uneventful for the most part.
The way I like it.
Way I like it. You know, I'm comparing it to last year at this time. You know, we lost my mama on the 5th last year, so it could be 1,000 times better as long as we don't have a close family member pass away this first year. But no, we had a good Christmas. We had a good New Year's.
What'd you do for Christmas?
Bought myself a members only jacket.
Where? What garage sale were you able to come up?
This is brand new, my man.
I was thinking
this is brand new. I'm going to bring these back. I'm bringing them back.
Well, the reason I asked, I've never seen a members only jacket in OD green.
Well, you can find it. You can find it. It only took me 40 years to get one.
Okay.
I know everybody's heard the story about my members only jacket in school, but
I forgot about that.
Yeah, see. No, I was well, it's a really long, boring story. But anyway,
most of them are. Let's hear it.
To myself. I got a vest, one of those heated vests. Let me tell you something. If you don't have
the battery operated ones,
yeah, that's the cat's meow, man.
Yeah.
It's got a little button. It's got a little button up here. Well, you got to turn it on. You got to put the battery in it and then turn it on. I'll tell you something real quick though. If you get one, the charging port is on the side of the battery.
Okay.
So there's 2 ports on top of the battery.
All right.
And dummy me was trying to charge it from the wrong port. And it wasn't until I was scratching my head trying to figure out why it wouldn't charge. I was beginning to think maybe I had a bad battery or something. And I was looking at it, and then my thumb raked across the side of it, and there's another port.
That's where that goes.
Plugged it up, and it started charging.
So I was at an auction. This has been a while. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, and at least growing up with a bunch of women, I've got 6 sisters, and I learned pretty quickly that females get colder quicker than males. Well, like I said, I don't know if it was last winter or the winter before. I'm out there in a big old jacket, and I don't know, I probably had some thermals on underneath my clothes. Well, I'm freezing, at this auction. Well, I look over, and there's this woman standing there, and she's got on them, them black leggings or whatever, and just this little bitty thin fleece jacket. There's not a part of her body that's shaking, and I'm over here teeth clattering and everything else, and I look at her, I know her. I'm like, are you not cold? And she just whips her shoulder around, and I see like an LED light bar right here that told the battery level. And I'm like, what's that? She's like, this jacket's heated. I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, all I got to do is push this button, and I am cozy.
They're the best thing ever. They're the best thing ever. This one's got 2 heated like breast pocket heaters up here on the chest, and then it's got one in the middle of the back. And I'm telling you, it'll burn you up.
Really?
Yeah. It's got 3 settings on it. So anyway, that was probably one of the best presents I got.
How long does it last? See, now you got me thinking.
4 hours on high.
Okay.
Something like that. It's well worth the money. It's well worth. I mean, we don't get that cold.
Is it members only too?
No, I don't think members only makes them. But if they do, I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get some parachute pants too if they got them heated.
That is great. Please take a picture. We'll put it on because y'all got a new app, right? Don't y'all have a new app at the sheriff's office?
Not yet.
When does that go into effect? Now that we brought that up,
hopefully soon. We're gonna be meeting on it. I think before the end of the month to start going over the logistics on how it's going to look and what we want on it and all that stuff, and then they've got to build it, so it'll take a little while.
So, in not just to refresh me, but also to refresh our listeners, what exactly is this app going to encompass? I know like if something major has happened, it's real time alert. But what are some of the major logistics you're wanting to get out of this app?
So it'll be a free app. Either iPhone or Android, either one. You just go to your app store and download it. It'll be totally free. And there's some counties in the neighborhood that already have it going. so you can download theirs at the same time. It's free too. It's all the same company, I believe. But it'll basically, you can kind of pick and choose what you want on the app. For us, we're going to mirror a couple of the other neighboring counties. You'll have your jail information. You'll have your inmate information. You'll be able to look and see. It's similar to the mobile patrol.
Okay.
But you'll be able to get on there and log in and see who's incarcerated and what for, and new arrests and all that stuff. So all the jail information will be on there. We'll also have most wanted, people that we're looking for, us, TBI, and FBI. We'll have weather alerts. We'll have traffic alerts. We'll have advisories, weather advisories, fog advisories. If we have a wreck somewhere and a road closure, school closings, you'll have links on there that'll take you to weather maps and different stuff.
Hey, I just thought about something. What about school lockdowns? Is that something that y'all can put on that?
I think so. Yep.
Because I can remember, one time sticks out in my memory of one of our local schools here in the city being on lockdown, and dispatch just getting bombarded with calls.
Yeah.
Is this certain, and I'm not going to name the school, but is this, school on lockdown? It's on social media, and dispatch was like, well, we don't know. Well, how bad does that make us look that the dispatching center and the local police department don't know that a school's on lockdown?
Well,
so is that something y'all could have?
Sure, it'll have a notification alert to it too, so you can set it up where you'll actually get an alert if there's a road closure or a weather alert, or maybe even a school closing. But it'll alert you, and we'll give a brief notification of what's going on. The goal is to get away from all the false information that starts circulating as soon as you have some kind of an incident or an alert or something. So you'll be able to get it real time right then and there. And so we're excited about it, and we're just in the planning phases right now. We've already got the funding, and we've already signed a contract. It's just getting it nailed down and getting it looking the way we want to.
Lawrence County's most wanted. You're going to have some cool graphics. That is going to be awesome. Yeah,
there'll be also a way that you can text information, anonymously text information. Say you've got a guy that moved in across the road, and you find out he's so and so, and we've got warrants, or he's most wanted, or something. You can text the information anonymously to the app, and we'll get it. And so there's a whole lot of good stuff that comes along with it. And like I said, the goal is to provide quicker, more reliable information to the public instead of just letting it, I'm not going to badmouth social media, but as well as I do, whenever there's some kind of a major incident, how the misinformation just floods social media. This way, people will be able to get on there and look and say, no, this is reliable information. This is factual information. This is what's going on.
And that's good, because it doesn't amaze me now, but there have been a few times over the years with social media. Where do they get this stuff? If something happened at somebody's house, and next thing you know, there was a meth lab that exploded, and somebody got life flighted to Vanderbilt, and at the end of the day, it was just a little grass fire in the backyard, and and that was it. I don't know. You can speculate all you want, but you get. I've said this for years. You don't have to pass a criminal history, a psychological, or a drug screen to get a social media page. You don't. And you should. You should.
I told one of our state reps that last month when we were talking to me. I said, I've got a bill I want you to carry up in Nashville. And he says, all right, tell me about it. And I said, I want you to make it mandatory that if you get a social media page, you got to pass criminal history, a drug screen, and a psychological. He said, wouldn't life be so much easier?
It would be easier, and it would be more pleasant. But getting back to this app, it's almost like, while you sitting here talking, it's almost like, for us older hands in law enforcement, Crime Stoppers, the tip line, it's almost like Crime Stoppers, but with feedback. You call Crime Stoppers, you really never know, if they did anything. But if you start to see some of this stuff going back to the public off of this app, you may get a little bit more cooperation out of our local people.
Maybe. I mean, people can download Wayne County. You know, we had the Wayne County Sheriff Shane Fisher on here a while back. He went to the app not long ago, and he sings its praises. You know, so if you kind of want to get an idea of what it's going to look like, you can download that app. Because ours is going to be similar to that setup. We might tweak it a little bit the way we want it and the way we think it best fits our needs, but I'm excited about it.
So 6 months, 8 months?
No, I feel like it'll be in 90 days.
Oh, sweet.
I feel like we'll have it up and running in the next 90 days. I'll make sure everybody knows. I'll put it out there to everybody. As soon as the app's available and as soon as it's online, I'll be pushing it really hard. Because the goal is to get away from social media and the misinformation that's on there. So I'm excited about it.
That's
I think
big.
it's going to be a great thing for us. It's going to be a great thing for people too. But Christmas was great. Man,
have we talked about shopping with Santa since it's happened? I don't think we have.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I don't know. It went great. I don't know if you saw a lot of the pictures that we posted. You know, it's one of my favorite days of the year. And it makes you feel good it lasts for a while. You know, you feel good for a while after that, and then you get to sit down and look at all the pictures and everything. It's we always have such a huge turnout for that. The guys come out and donate their own time and come out and do that. The people that donate the money, the sponsors, are the ones that really make it all happen. But there's a whole lot of effort that goes into it, from the people that we've got wrapping presents at the back of Walmart. Can't say enough good things about Walmart and McDonald's. I mean, everybody.
See, that kind of blew my mind. And I guess that's my fault. I haven't been paying that much attention. But up until you told me what they were going to do, you know, a couple shows back, I didn't realize that after the kids, you know, go up there and they pick their stuff out and go pay for it, that then it gets wrapped by people. Mm-hmm. And so they have, you know, a wrapped present. And I thought my wife's family, they do something different than my family did. They tell each other what they want for Christmas, and then that's what they go buy. It's really no surprise. And I'm like, why are you unwrapping a present that you know what's inside of it? Well, I guess after a couple times of me doing it, it's still kind of cool to unwrap a present, even though that you know what's in the present. And I'm sure it's no different with these little kids. They know what's coming, but just to unwrap at Christmas, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I got my daughter got me a meat thermometer.
Oh,
needed that. I needed that.
Your cooking has forever changed. Okay.
she come in with it and she set it down on the table when we done Christmas that morning. And I said, you wasn't supposed to get me anything. She goes, yeah, I know, but I got you a little something. Got a meat thermometer. And I just melted mine like a month before.
So you're used to cooking with a thermometer?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So a good friend of mine who passed, Daryl Valentine. I miss the guy. He's such a good friend. Well, you know, his wife and their boys have stayed in touch over the years. Well, we met up. They were in town. They're originally from Texas, and we met at one time. They had a little gift bag for me, and inside of it was a cooking thermometer. And you know, I thought I was good on the grill. Okay, I working at Chaparral in high school, I thought I knew how to handle a grill. Well, whenever I was told just let you pry down a little bit and use this thermometer, you'll see that there's another world out there, and oh my gosh,
made all the difference. You was overcooking food for years.
To understand and know that a pork chop or a pork ribeye don't have to be to 160. You can take it off at 140.
Yeah.
I mean, just the tenderness and in the flavor and everything. So yeah, I'm getting off on a kick here. I believe highly in cooking thermometers. It changes the game.
Got that? What'd you get? I mean, did you get anything to talk about?
Yes, I did. So little little headset right there.
Yeah.
Miss Grooms came in.
Let me tell you here's my problem with those. When you're talking on that, there should be some kind of a light that indicates to other people that you're talking on the phone and not talking to them.
I agree, because
ain't nothing I hate worse than be standing there in line at Kroger or something. There's a guy talking. You turn around, you look at him, and say, "Who are you talking to? What are you saying?"
Right.
And they look at you and they go,
Yeah, yeah. You know, especially if you hear, do that one more time and see what I do. You know, there is so many clips. I don't know how often you get on YouTube, but I don't have Facebook. I don't have TikTok, Instagram. I don't have none of that. So I get on YouTube and I watch them shorts all the time. And there are a ton of videos with guys, you know, wearing, you know, them headsets. And I don't know if I should say the brand or whatever, but it's about the best brand you can get. And it's, you know, you see people stand there in line and you hear, say it again, say what I do. Say it again, you know, and you got some guys turning around like, you know, you talking to me? And then like you said, they'll do that right there.
On my phone.
But yes, I agree. There should be some type of light on there or something that will let other people know that you're on the phone, because I can see how that could go quick.
What about New Year's? What'd you do New Year's?
New Year's. What did we do New Year's?
Must not have been that memorable if you can't remember.
So I guess I'm following your lead. I'm starting to get old. Around 10:30, I was like, should I stay up and watch the ball drop?
So what you're saying is you didn't go anywhere, you stayed at the house?
No, I stayed at the house.
I think a lot of people did, because I started the tradition of working on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. And I get it's an accidental tradition. I mean, it's not like I planned on doing this tradition. It's just when, and I went back to the first year that I came out and worked New Year's Eve after I came home and got back in law enforcement. But and I got that notification on social media, the 10-year picture or something, and I was sitting in a patrol car. But anyway, so I started that about 10 years ago. And so that's what I did. I did that New Year's Eve, and then I released the video that I put out to people on New Year's Eve. And I guess that's another tradition that I started about 3 years ago.
Was that the Safe Ride Home?
Yeah, well, the Safe Ride Home was the year before last, and then the year before that, it was another one where I talked about the booking room. Don't let the booking room door be the last door you see for the new year or something. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this one was just a real short quickie, you know, just telling people don't drink and drive, stay at home, or call a sober ride or something. And I like to think it worked a little bit, because there really wasn't a lot of people out.
So
New Year's Eve. I came to town a few times and made the loop through town and around the square and some of the other places. And there was a few people there, but not a big crowd. I think a lot of people just stayed at home or went to another individual's house, because usually at about 12:15, that's when you see an influx in traffic on the roads for about 30, 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And there was a little bit, but not much. I think there was one DUI offender arrested from us. Now, I don't know about the Highway Patrol or the Lawrenceburg City Police Department, but for us, there was one that came through that shouldn't have been driving. But for the most part, it was fairly quiet.
Well, good. That's what you want on New Year's.
That's what we wanted. So
I love to shoot fireworks, and on Christmas and New Year's Eve, and I just got so tired. I did stay up and watch the ball drop, but I was so tired, I forgot to go out and light off the fireworks in the front yard. Plus, the missus, she had to work the next day. That's probably why I was just sitting on the couch. Everybody was in bed. I was by myself, just sitting there, just dozing off. I'm getting old.
I used to. I've got one of my rifles. One of my hunting rifles is a 7mm Magnum.
Okay.
And it's one of the loudest guns.
It's a loud gun.
I mean, when you hit the trigger, it roars. Mm-hmm. And I would always park that by the door, and I would put 3 rounds in it, and then at midnight I'd be out there, and then as soon as midnight hit, I would send 3 rounds through the woods behind the house, and think the last time I'd done it, I didn't hear anything for about
Nobody holler.
for about a day and a half because it rung my ears so bad. I think that did it. I think I was done with that tradition, and it woke up everybody within a mile because it was so loud. But yeah, but I made up my mind though. I think I'm going to change. I think I'm going to start. I think I'm gonna let the deputies start handling New Year's Eve, and I think I'm gonna go somewhere warm and sunny.
Okay.
I was sitting there in the car, and it was 28 degrees out, and I'd gotten out on a stop and been out on a stop for a little while, and I got back in the car, and I mean, I had the heater just roaring, trying to get warm back up, and I was sitting there thinking, might be time for a new tradition.
Right. Key West looks really good right now.
Someplace warm and sunny with a golf course and some water, and I don't know. I'll probably be right back out working.
So you know how
I enjoy it.
You know how much useless information that I store instead of, stuff that could help me out in life. You was talking about, cranking the rifle off at New Year's. I was reading some old writings of Davy Crockett, and just something that stuck out to me. He was talking about how important it was for him to, have enough extra black powder so he could shoot his musket off in celebration on Christmas Day. And I was like, I guess that's not just a bunch of modern day rednecks that like to do that. Mr. Crockett was,
he probably invented
it. Who knows? I mean, that, but I was like, man, that's something that we didn't know. That's pretty cool.
What about Venezuela? I'd like for us to talk a little bit about Venezuela. So when Trump took office last year, in January, I was thinking, I bet we're probably going to hit Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was having this discussion with a couple of buddies of mine, and I don't know if you've ever seen that clip, that movie clip. And I can't think of the name of the movie. Anyway, I sent the link to a guy the other day. The day of, and there's a Jack Ryan. It's a series, and he's talking to a group of students, and he's asking them what their opinion of the most dangerous, the biggest threat to the United States is, and some said Russia, and some said North Korea, and some said China, but nobody said Venezuela. And then he talked about Venezuela. And if you get a chance, YouTube that clip of that movie where he talks about it. I mean, because it's fairly accurate what he says. But when I woke up that morning and I was watching the headlines about us hitting those targets down there and getting Maduro and his wife and extracting them out of the country and bringing them back up here, I said, I called it. I knew it was coming. And he knew it was coming. I don't know if you saw the interview or the press conference that the president did, but they said when they made entry into his compound and he was attempting
to get in the safe house.
Yeah,
or the safe room.
Yeah, because he knew they were coming.
Oh yeah.
Of course, all the preemptive strikes on the drug boats leading up to it. I mean, he had to have known that America was coming.
Right.
He just probably didn't know when, but he had to have known in the back of his mind that it was going to happen pretty soon. But I was talking to some people yesterday, and they were telling me about some people that were behind their business that were probably smoking meth. There looked like a couple of rough individuals, maybe homeless individuals. It was a business here in town, but anyway, they were talking about how they went behind this partial behind the business and they were smoking meth. But the person that said it said, yeah, a couple of crackheads smoking meth. And I said, well, I've never known a crackhead to smoke meth. I was kind of, and they said, well, we don't know the terminology, and I said, well, it was probably meth heads smoking meth, know. I said, cocaine, you just don't hardly see cocaine around here anymore.
But I think you're fixing to.
And I made that comment. I said, if we keep blasting those boats out of the water, you're not going to see it again, period. But we got on the subject about cocaine because they were that they didn't have a lot of knowledge when it come to drugs. And I was telling them, I said, well, when I started my career, that was the hard drug of choice was cocaine. And I said, I wish we could go back. I wish we could go back to the cocaine days, because before you started to see crack cocaine, when it was just powder cocaine, that was the party drug, and people could they could use it and still keep their job and party on the weekends, and the world kept turning, and then they figured out how to turn it into crack cocaine, and then that's when you started to see the demise of it. But the whole conversation was about the drug boats. And I think we took out 20 something. I think we've taken out 20 something drug boats.
It's around there. I forgot the exact number.
It's come in, but and I know we've got the government under our control right now, and there's a lot of what ifs surrounding that whole thing. I mean, it would be stupid for anybody to think there's answers right now, because it's so early on into it, and it's a lot of moving parts.
There is, and talking about the drug boats. Whenever I was watching it, somebody somehow was able to come up with some analytics on, well, these boats that looked like A, B, and C typically didn't go to the U.S. They typically went to Europe. But yeah, these boats that looked like, D, G, and E, they typically went to the United States. And they were like, he's blowing up drug boats that ain't even going, to the United States. And it's like, are you listening to the man's blowing up drug boats? Now, who's to say that some of the stuff that go to Europe is not then being flown, or shipped to the United States? That was an amazing, I don't care which side of the aisle you're on, because people need to remember, Biden put out a $25 million hit on Maduro. Okay. So just within the past 8 years, both sides wanted Maduro. Saying that's all, that's as far as the politics I'm going to get on that. But where I'm going with this is, how crazy is it to say to the leader of the free world, come get me, and they go get him basically out of bed, and within 9 hours he goes from being the president of his country to being in a jail in New York City, in the United States. Not one casualty in our military.
That's not a smart thing to do, is to threaten the president or the administration of the United States of America.
Right.
I always say that was one of the determining factors of why we went into Iraq, because the dust hadn't even settled from 9/11. And they showed that clip of Saddam Hussein saying the American cowboys got what they deserved. And I'll always say that was one of the determining factors of why we went into that country, is because of that. Same thing with Maduro, saying, if you want to try to come get me, come get me.
And my wife was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they went and snatched him out of his own bed. Now, I'll tell you the same thing that I told her, because I'm still under an NDA. Can't tell you who I trained with, can't tell you where I trained with, but I have been fortunate enough to train with a division of the United States Special Forces. And Sheriff, I fully understand how they went to Venezuela and jerked this guy out of his own house, potentially out of his own bed, because some of the stuff that I've seen these special forces groups pull off blew my mind. I'm talking every Rambo movie I've ever watched, Black Hawk Down. I'm like, oh my gosh, this ain't Hollywood. This is real. And I'm so Chuck Norris.
Steven Seagal. Van Damme.
It's Van Damme.
I watched them all. They don't even compare.
Again, I can't go into detail, but I would find myself not doing my job, and I felt like a 4-year-old little kid just standing there in awe and watching this masterpiece unfold before my eyes. So if somebody comes up to me and says, "Can you believe that they were able to do this?" 100%. And don't get me wrong, disclaimer: never been in the military. Okay, I have no military experience whatsoever. The closest I came to the military is Mama did 30 years in the Army National Guard. Okay, so I have no military training whatsoever. But to stand there again like a small child, seeing stuff unfold in front of your eyes, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is real." Yes, I fully know how we can go down there and kick tail. Makes you proud to be an American. Again, what side of the aisle you're on, I don't care. He was a bad dude, and it's nice to see the bad dude get what's coming to him.
I got asked. This was early on when they were starting to sink some of those drug boats, and I got asked, said, "How do they know those are drug boats? I mean, how do they know that they're coming through? How do they know that that's drugs on the boat?" And I said, "You don't know the people that they have on the ground, the intelligence operatives that have informants. I mean, just like the operation where they snatched Maduro. That was months getting prepared for that, and all the people that are on the ground providing real time intelligence to the people that make the decisions. You know, though there's probably thousands of them that are unmentioned that nobody will ever know. That who they are and what they did to provide the information to make that a success. Because I mean, you can have all the drones and all the satellite imagery and all the science fiction stuff, you know, that helps you make it a success, but none of it is a success without the people on the ground that are providing the real time information.
And to show you how far, you know, we have come, they had to kill El Chapo. Okay, the United States military was, again, the best military in the world whenever El Chapo was doing his thing. But I don't, in my personal opinion, again, I'm not a military expert, I don't think then we were at a place where we could go in and extract El Chapo, one, alive, and two, none of our people get hurt. But I mean, that just shows you how bad to the bone our guys are right now, and I'm proud of them. I mean, that just
the cartels want to send messages to the military, the United States military. You know, we'll do this. You know, they rule by intimidation.
They do.
They decapitate people and dismember people and use that fear. But they run into some of our tier one guys, man. They have no idea.
They don't.
They have no idea the kind of people that they are.
And I think the problem with that is and think, you know, being a drug cop in this area, we've got to go to some really great schools, and I didn't personally realize how powerful the cartels were until I started going to some of these drug schools. And you would hear that not only are they powerful, but they are just as ruthless as Al-Qaeda, depending on which area in the South you're in. They're every bit as powerful or ruthless as the Taliban, but they have more toys. Okay, they're more powerful. They won't, you know, cut an appendage off with a knife. They'll do it with a 49 steel chainsaw. It's quicker, and you know, you don't get out of breath. And some of the videos that we seen of what the cartels do to their enemies or to people that didn't deliver successfully that load of dope. I mean, it make you almost vomit in your lap. Okay, but what I'm getting at here is, the cartels are powerful, but I think they have a little bit of false hope. They know they're powerful, but I don't think they realize how far from power they are compared to, like you said, our tier one guys who can come in quieter than a cricket and either kidnap people, dispose of people, and be out. And
it's you know, without getting too political, it is for law enforcement to have the administration that we have in office now. it makes you feel good. Number
Yeah.
one, knowing that the very top office in the country is behind you, and then and number two, it's knowing that better days are coming.
Yes, sir.
But better days are coming, because I get asked all the time, what do you think the number one threat to public safety is in Lawrence County? And I say it's addiction. It's addiction. That's our number one threat to public safety in this
No
county.
doubt.
The root of our crime in this county centers around addiction.
Yeah.
And meth addiction and fentanyl addiction is nothing like I've ever seen. I mean, I've never seen an addiction that strong. I
It's
mean,
the devil.
you thought oxys and roxys, were bad. It wasn't nothing compared to this stuff now. And people will take it, and they know how dangerous it is, and they know how potent it is, and they know it could kill them, and they still do it because their body won't let them stop.
Right.
So I'm anxious to see what's coming over the next couple of years as far as the meth trade, the meth and fentanyl. I still get the Blue Lightning reports, the block reports, and seizures are down.
Yes.
I don't know if it's hard to predict why seizures are down. I mean, you would like to think because there's less product trying to come into the United States.
Right.
Common sense tells you that probably isn't it. They've figured out a new way to get it into the country that we ain't figured out yet, maybe, or something. But when you start seeing a quick, short spikes in street prices of meth and fentanyl, that's when you can kind of gauge that it's getting harder to get, and it's getting harder to get because it's not coming in as much.
Our listeners are going to think I'm crazy. I can't wait until meth is $2,200 an ounce again.
Oh, I know. I hope
Okay.
I live to see the day when it's so expensive nobody can afford it.
Right. And I know I've said it on here a couple times. I'm not going to mention her name, but when that girl that we busted a while back told us how it wasn't going to be too long before meth was $300 an ounce. I mean, we was like, she's just, popping off at the mouth. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Yeah, 2 years later, I mean, she knew more than our drug agents knew about what was fixing to happen to the price. She had insider information.
Yeah.
But again, price went down because there was so much here.
Hey, those super labs, I'm telling you, I'm making a prediction now. Sometime in the next year and a half to 2 years, we'll start hitting targets south of the border.
I can't wait.
We will. We'll start hitting targets, and it'll be those super labs that are stretched across the southern border, where they're bringing it up and cooking it and then sending it across the border. The ones that you see the pictures of where one yield is like a quarter ton from one cook. It's so massive.
It's so massive. Yeah.
But that'll be some good stuff to see right there when we start hitting those. That will really drive up the price.
I'm not going to mention any names, but I was again 19 whenever I stepped off into this business, and I started where there were still some old hands from the late 60s, 70s, the people that's been around for a little bit, and which this of course this cop ain't working no more, but the advice that he used to give people was, if somebody's breaking in your home, you better be sure they're in your home before you shoot them. And asking him, why are you telling them that? Because that was a law enforcement mindset. They needed to be in your house. That way, you, without a shadow of a doubt, it could be justified. Well, I don't have that mindset, and I encourage my family, again, this is a disclaimer, me and my family, I encourage my family not to have that mindset, because here's the thing. If there is somebody standing on my front porch trying to break in my house, I want to handle that and take care of that threat before he gets into my house where my children are sleeping, okay? I tell that really long story to say this. Like you, I cannot wait for the day when this administration starts targeting places in Mexico to stop even more of these drugs from either being made, being transported, processed, whatever the case may be. I don't like to take care of problems at home. I like to take care of problems before they get to my house, or at least get in my house. Am I making sense there?
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah, it's preemptive. And we have an administration that believes in that, obviously.
Yeah, he'll do it
with Venezuela. So it's I'm kind of excited about what's going to happen in 2026.
And there was this girl in Congress running her mouth. I ain't gonna get into that, but she brought up the fact, well, why in the world did we go after Venezuela when we should have been going after Mexico, where we know more drugs are being poured into our country? Well, right off the bat, you have to understand that Mexico would be a bigger problem right off the bat to take care of. But if we show them what we can do with Venezuela, maybe we won't have to mess with Mexico.
It'll be interesting to see what some of the other smaller countries in that area start to do. Cuba and Colombia. I seen there was a release today, or Trump put on Truth Social, I think it was, that he had a long conversation with the president of Colombia over the phone.
Really?
And they're in talks of a meeting at the White House coming up pretty soon. So he's got everybody's attention. So I mean, it's good stuff, man. I'm excited about 2026. Going by 2025, I mean, you don't want to jinx yourself and say, man, 2025 was so terrible. 2026 has got to be better. I mean, 2026 could in fact be worse than 2025, but I think we're on I think we got a good year coming.
Well,
I think there's a lot of good things that are going to come down the pike pretty soon, and I'm glad of it.
Well, like you, I'm happy what's been done, but what I'm even more happy about is what is still yet to come, or what might not happen because of what has been done. It gives you hope that, like you said, better days are coming. Better days is, to me, less drugs in our country, where we're not losing so many citizens.
Mm-hmm.
What'd they say? 17,000 a week, I think it's
overdoses.
Yeah.
I don't know that number.
Anyways, too many.
Yeah. No, it's you can't have the mindset of well, I mean, they shouldn't be doing drugs. They shouldn't. If they wouldn't be doing drugs, then you wouldn't have to. I get that. There's some responsibility on the person that's willingly doing the drugs. But I keep going back to that girl that I had that conversation with that day that was sitting there crying and telling me how bad she wanted to get off of drugs, but her body wouldn't let her.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't physically do it.
Right.
But anyway, you get off topic a little bit. I think 2026 is going to be.
I pray it's going to be.
We got new DUI laws. I think we was going to talk a little bit about the new DUI laws. The one I think that has got the most attention. Well, there's a couple. The one that they reduced the aggravated DUI BAC from 0.20 to 0.15.
Yes.
And that's a pretty serious move right there.
That is serious.
It's a pretty serious move.
And a lot of people, you've always heard, in being in law enforcement, why you drink 2 beers and you're over the limit. Well, I mean, if you chug both of them within 15 seconds, yeah, that could be possible. But for those that are not made aware, it takes a little bit to get you to 0.15, mm-hmm. but it doesn't take that much. Mm-hmm. Okay, but being impaired at 0.15, that's impaired.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's almost twice the legal limit.
Yeah,
legal limit's 0.08.
Right.
So I mean, the other big one now that is I think it's got a lot of attention is the swabs, and
mm-hmm.
and I got asked this the other day: are we going to have those? Is that something that we're going to start doing? I don't know that much about it yet, but I will, and just based on what I've been told and what I've read, I think it's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a good thing because I'm a big believer in making a decision right there on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's a test that you can do, a field test that you can do right there on the scene and find out somebody's BAC without having to place them under arrest, tow their vehicle,
Right.
transport them to the emergency room. If they refuse, then you have to get the magistrate to sign
a search warrant.
for their blood, and then you finally where you can draw the blood, and you find out that the guy, the blood still takes months to come back.
Right.
So you still don't have an answer.
Right.
And this guy could have been borderline. He could have been the law enforcement officer could have been. Well, I mean, he was what I would call borderline, and my conscience wouldn't let him leave because I didn't want him to get down the road and kill a mom with her 3 kids coming
Right.
back from a late softball game. So yeah, I went on ahead and arrested him, and he comes back and he's a .07, or something. So this will fix that if we get this in place. You get real time information right there from the scene, and you know where you stand.
And that helps. And for some of our listeners out there, if you happen to be the individual that likes to drink a couple Bud Heavies and take you 4 Xanax on top of that, that's a completely different story. Mm-hmm. So if you are a multi intoxicant user, if that swab says that you potentially could be under .08, that doesn't mean you're out of the house free.
Yeah, because it'll measure other stuff in your system, right? Right. This technology has been around for a really long time.
Right.
I don't know why it's taken it so long to get here to a field test that you can do right there on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm glad for it. I just don't know why it's taking so long.
Do you know what industry this really got big in? Heavy equipment operators. There are some parts of the country where it's, I guess, statistically more likely for heavy operators to show up to work with some of the effects of the night before, still going on inside their body. And there would be a line, and you see them up there just doing a swab. Okay. Go jump on the backhoe, do a swab. No, go home.
Are you familiar with it at all? Have you ever seen one or watched it?
I have watched it
administered.
No, I haven't.
I mean, is it? I wonder how accurate it is. I wonder if it's a color code test or if it's. I wonder. Do you put it in a machine?
The ones I think was just like color coded. Almost kind of like a the old school drug test. Mm-hmm. It changed colors, so that would give you the result.
So there's a lot of unanswered questions about this stuff, but I'm excited about it. I think it's long overdue. And I know, and I don't know if you've been seeing the news lately. The highway patrol's been getting beat up pretty bad on this one particular news station about the DUI arrests that came back not DUI. And again, it's a judgment call. I've been in the same as a young deputy. I remember a DUI case that I had made, and he was on his way, I think, to Lewis County. And I stopped him on one of our county roads on the north end of the county, and he was borderline. He was iffy, and I couldn't consciously let him leave, and he didn't have anybody to call, so it was kind of a have to arrest. And his field sobriety tests were not that great at all. I think the field sobriety test was the determining factor. Mm-hmm. But his BA came back. It wasn't over the legal limit, but I think he was still found guilty because there was obviously something else in his system, because the field sobriety tests were
just that bad.
He done so bad on them, and I had those on dash cam too, I think. But I had a guy ask me the other day about the standardized field sobriety test. I think we're probably going to see a change in them before long.
I can see it coming.
This guy made a really good point. He says some of those standardized field sobriety tests, you're taking somebody out of their natural element and asking them to perform something that they normally don't perform.
Right.
And, I don't know. I'm not an advocate for anybody drinking and driving, but I think we're on the brink of seeing something change with the standardized field sobriety test.
And that's a good thing, because the public doesn't need to forget that law enforcement has an obligation. If there's a possibility that you could be not guilty of something, we have just as much responsibility to explore that as we do the responsibility to see if you are guilty of something. So if we have these swabs that will help up, maybe the guy's got an inner ear infection that he doesn't know about that's affecting his balance. But we have no signs of prescription medication use. The swab comes back either no alcohol or a very reduced number below 0.08. That helps us keep from arresting somebody who is not guilty of violating the DUI law. So I like that. And, you know, you always tell stories. I'm going to tell a story. One of my first DUI cases I ever had in my career, it was in another county. The defense attorney requested that I step out of the witness box and demonstrate how I demonstrated field sobriety for his client. Sheriff, I was nervous as a billy goat.
Over?
I didn't.
You stubbed your toe?
I didn't stub my toe. But I put my foot down one time. I was shaking so bad, and then I put it right back up. And when I put it right back up, I looked at the defense attorney, and he was just grinning. So, long story short, after the hearing was over, we were back in the little room where police officers and lawyers kind of hang out, and he made a comment something along the lines of, "Yeah, I seen you put that foot down, pick it right back up, you know, really quick," and I was like, boy, I was nervous. Again, I'm a 22
Still wet.
22-year-old kid, yeah.
Still wet.
And I was like, boy, I was nervous. And then he, very politely and very nicely, he just looked down at me. He said, "How do you think they feel on the side of the road, dark, 2 o'clock in the morning?"
With blue lights.
With blue light. Yeah, I mean, right. And you know, that made sense. That actually, you know, still got a job to do, but it gave me a different point of view. Do I need to just look at what I'm saying, or could nervousness, could a medical condition? I had to grow up quick.
I didn't have to do none of that last DUI I made. Last DUI case I got in Etheridge, guy come through the stop sign, blew it, and hit another vehicle at the post office.
Oh.
I was standing out in front of the city hall. I got in the car and drove over there, and he was standing there, and he was noticeably drunk.
He was snockered.
Noticeably drunk. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, I tried to stop and couldn't stop. I said, "Are you drunk?" And he said, "Bad drunk." And I said, "You gonna take any field sobriety tests?" He said, "Nope." I said, "All right, come over here and get in the car." took him to jail. Worked the wreck. Done all the paperwork, took him to jail, towed his car, and it had been so long since I'd made a DUI case. I forgot all about the implied consent and all that stuff. And he said, "Are you not going to get blood or anything?" And I said, "Well, I don't guess. I mean, he told me he's drunk. Look at him, he's drunk. Right. I mean, he can't even stand up." And he said, "Well, you better at least ask." And I can't remember his name. He had a nickname, a funny nickname. And I asked him, I said, "You going to go down here and let them pull some blood out so I can see how much alcohol's in your blood?" He said, "No, I ain't doing none of that." And I said, "Sign that piece of paper."
Just sign right there. Thank you.
He went up there and he
just saved 2 hours of your life.
He did. He went up there and he just pled guilty, and it was done. He done his time, and it was said. It was a quick one. But we're about out of time. We got a minute and a half. What do we need to talk about before we wrap this up?
Well, I encourage everybody to jump online, jump on the state website. A lot of laws went into effect January 1, just like I think it's Savannah's law, that female deputy sheriff that was killed by her boyfriend.
Is that the domestic violence registry?
Yes, that's the domestic violence registry. So there are, I don't want to just you know, don't get me wrong. You shouldn't be whooping up on your wife or your girlfriend. It's not right.
Beating up on your baby.
Right, but you know, there have been times in history where both parties have gotten out of hand and things have happened unintentionally. I don't want people to think just because you make one little you're automatically going to be put on this registry like a sex offender. Because my understanding, that's not the way it is. I think Savannah's law, and I could be totally wrong. This is just what I've read on.
Read it for yourself.
Read it for yourself. But I think it's somebody who has a past of doing, you know, of dealing with domestic violence and stuff like that. So that'll give more protection to our citizens.
Yep. Just get online and Google new Tennessee laws taking effect.
2026,
and there'll be a list of them. We gotta get out of here. We got 5 seconds. Holler at me. Let's get lunch.
Yes, sir.
We need to talk. We need to talk some serious business.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Have a good one.